So is a podcast good for B2B marketing? I'm going to give you that answer in this video, along with the thing that you really should be doing instead of starting your own podcast. So you already know from that opening that I'm not a huge fan of folks starting their own podcast, especially in the early days of your business. In the early days of your business, as a coach, a consultant, a professional services provider, the most important thing that you need to be doing is having conversations with real decision makers who have the need, the budget, and the authority to say yes to working with you. You really don't know what the market wants from you until you have paying clients coming into your business. But let's say you're up and running and you now have a little bit more time and energy to get even more exposure beyond your professional network, beyond word of mouth, and you're wondering, where do I put that time and energy? Even then, I'm still not a huge fan of starting podcasts, and it's only because they are so time consuming. Your most valuable asset in your business is your time. And I hear from folks all the time who on one hand say, oh, it doesn't take me that much time to do X, Y, and Z. And yet on the other hand, they're not growing and they're not hitting their profitability numbers, let alone the top line revenue growth that they might want to be getting. So one of the things people ask me all the time, Angelique, what do you think has been such a secret to your success over the last 20 years? And it's because I'm ruthless. I am ruthless with all the things that I simply don't spend my time on. And when you think about podcasts, let's just look at some of the things that you've got to do for a podcast, right? It's a full-scale production effort. I mean, full-scale production effort. Cameras, lighting, sound. Then you have a full-scale editing effort, because there's an expectation now that podcasts are well produced. So there's all the post editing of sound and cuts and the intros and the outros and the bumpers and all of the things that are going around that. There's the recording of the actual interview itself that you have to do. And of course, to do a good interview is challenging. Oh my goodness, the number of podcasts that I have sat through where the interviewer, the host, was really not that good of an interviewer. So preparing for that is time consuming. Then there's the identifying the guests, doing the outreach to get guests to say yes to being on, and the entire management of the guests, and then all the things that they need to give you, and hope that they show up well prepared, hope that they're a good interview. I remember I did a short run podcast, if you will, back in 2020. Okay, so I wasn't out speaking at conferences, so I did that. It was really fascinating. I would talk to somebody, they would tell me this fantastic story. Then we'd start rolling, we'd be on the actual podcast recording, and suddenly nothing. I mean, I could not pull a story out of them if my life depended on it. It is a tough thing to do guest management, right? That is a challenging thing to do. And then we haven't even started with the building the audience, all of the marketing, all of the uploading of the episodes to all of the platforms for podcasts and all of the graphics and all of the social media that goes into it. It is its own business. In fact, there are people who are making a lot of money with just podcasting because they're putting 100% of their energy into that as the product. And when you look at that as sort of the gold standard of how it's done, and then you look at trying to compete in that space, it's a really difficult thing to do. That doesn't mean, as a coach, consultant, professional services provider, that podcasts don't belong anywhere in your marketing business development strategy. In fact, I think they play a very big role in your marketing and business development strategy, but the strategy is very different. It's about getting yourself booked on podcasts that are produced by centers of influence inside the very industries that you want to work with. When you think about your target market, whether those are mid-market manufacturers or well-funded technology small enterprises, or the big companies, or the big enterprise companies, or the higher eds, or the large nonprofits, or the local or state government agencies that are out there. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of podcasts that right this minute have the audience of your ideal target decision makers, and their podcasts likely in the last 12 to 18 months probably haven't covered the topic that you are an expert in. They've probably talked about a lot of things, but not your topic. It's one of the reasons that in our Bold House Collective, we dedicated an entire module in our Land, Expand, Scale Learning Vault to getting booked on podcasts where the audience is 100% decision makers, the very decision makers that you want to get in front of. And the great thing about this is instead of worrying about lighting and microphones and guests not showing up for their scheduled interviews or rebooking, it means you get to spend 100% of your time talking about your area of expertise, educating decision makers on the problems inside their organization, how to spot those problems, how to solve those problems, how to get the right kind of outside support and expertise, understanding how much to budget into those solutions that they need to deploy in their organization, how long it's going to take them to really see an impact in their organization. You get to put 100% of your time as a thought leader into speaking to your audience as opposed to now being tech support for a podcast. And to those of you who already have a podcast, that's great. Keep going if it's working for you. But if you're at the fork in the road to decide, do I start my own podcast or not? If you're not over 7 figures and you can't invest 100% of the dollars necessary to have every single thing off of your plate around that podcast other than conducting the interviews, and I mean soup to nuts, then instead, I implore you to put your energy into getting booked on the podcast so that you can engage with and get visibility and proximity to the people who have the dollars to invest with you and your firm. It's a much faster path to cash flow. All right, so that's a big point of view around what not to do with your time. I want to focus now on what you should do with your time in addition to being the featured thought leader on these well-respected podcasts, which, by the way, I should have mentioned, can be repurposed a million ways till Sunday that you can then put through all of your other channels. But let's keep going with this conversation because there are so many things that you can do with your time and energy that are going to have a bigger payoff for you. And so for that, we're going to pick this conversation up in the next video, how to sell high ticket consulting services. So I've dropped that link for you right below. Go watch that now so you have a list of the do's versus the list of just the don'ts.